After spending a few days with a preview build of F124, I'm convinced that players will love the new physics and handling overhaul this year, with the improved traction and updated tyre model making for a more immersive, fun and predictable driving experience. And I haven't even mentioned career mode, which has had its most significant update since F1 2016. EA Sports claims that F1 24 is the subject of Codemasters' largest ever physics update, and as such it delivers the most authentic and immersive experience ever in an F1 title. This is an almighty claim to make, but from my short time with the game so far, the gameplay experience on offer might well back up those claims. In my F1 23 review last year, I said that it was the most complete Formula 1 racing game to date, and that cars were easier to drive and predict, particularly when it comes to traction and high-speed corner grip, compared to the previous edition. And for F1 24, it feels like a similar story. If anything, the jump between F1 23 and F1 24 is even more pronounced in terms of traction and predictability. When I jumped into F1 24 for the first time, playing time trial at the newly updated Spa track with no traction control, it took me a good few laps to adjust the muscle memory I'd built up playing F1 23. Such was the improved traction at my disposal. The sheer improvement in grip levels means you'll need to recalibrate your driving style, as you'll always find you can attack the corners much more confidently than in last year's game. And there's always time on the table, or so it feels. In F1 23, there were a few corners that caused me immense frustration, because I'd watch F1 cars in real life being able to attack them, often at full throttle or close to, and still maintain traction. When I tried replicating that, I'd end up in the barriers, as these corners had to be taken with quite a bit of care. I'm talking about corners like Turn 1 in Bahrain, the final corner at Melbourne, the incredibly fast Sector 1 at Jeddah, Austria Turn 1 and the Variante Ascara at Monza. But F1 24 put me in a new mindset. I can attack these corners, knowing that the car will maintain grip even with quick changes in direction. And even if I took liberties with the throttle pedal, instead of just spinning out as I do in earlier games in the series, I start to feel and hear the tyre slip, giving me time to correct the slide and stay in one piece. Obviously, drifting an F1 car through corners is not the fastest way around a track, but the fact you're able to control these sliding moments is a huge improvement on last year, and it gives you more confidence to attack, whether in qualifying or you're going for an overtake in a race. There were various occasions where I thought, you know what, I'm just going to put my foot down and go for it, and most of the time it worked. It's a fantastic feeling when you get it just right. In the slow speed corners, the F1 cars remain pretty clumsy, just like in real life, but I felt more connected with the car compared to F1 23, and the additional traction on corner exit is a delight. Thanks to the new suspension kinematic system, the way cars react over bumps and curbs is far more realistic in this year's game, and again adds more additional predictability to the handling. Corners like Eau Rouge in Spa and the final Casio Triangle section in Suzuka are great corners that showcase the vehicle's new, more controllable behaviour. There are also more customization options for car setups, with more settings for the differential and a new engine braking slider, while changes to suspension and ride height sliders are much more noticeable and important now in-game, and the best settings for these will vary from circuit to circuit. Computational Fluid Dynamics, or CFD, has also been used to add more detail to the simulation of aero in F1 24, with the turbulent, dirty air from cars ahead leading to a loss in grip and more understeer, again just like in real life, while the impact of DRS will change depending if you're running on a high or low downforce setup. This is another feature which makes the game more akin to what we see on a race weekend. The changes to the ERS system in F1 24 are also more realistic, as you're finally able to choose the hot lap mode in the middle of a race, which is great for attempting an undercut, while the overtake mode has also been made more powerful, but is now a huge drain on your battery levels. Thankfully, Codemasters has thought of this and has also introduced the option to manually derate in the middle of a race by lifting and coasting at the end of a straight. I loved using this in races. It gave me more strategy options in terms of overtaking. I could afford to be more patient, knowing I can charge my battery and unleash it later on in the race. Although I was only able to play through one season of career mode in F1 24, for the first time in a while the mode has a fresh feel, with loads of little changes and new features adding a fresh perspective that's sure to please long-term fans. It's not quite an overhaul, but it is a big upgrade compared to what we've seen in previous years. Things like R&D, practice programs, and the feel of the menus work in pretty much the same way as before, but now the entire experience is centered around something new: the driver recognition system. As you complete goals and targets during your career, your recognition will increase, allowing you to lead the development of your car, have secret meetings with other teams, and renegotiate your current deal. And I love how these goals are sprinkled into your races too, like doing a certain lap time in clean air or recharging your battery to a certain level, as it adds more variety to your race if there wasn't already. The new career mode lets you step into the shoes of a current F1 driver, an F2 driver, an iconic driver from yesteryear, or even a completely custom character, to try and create some history of your own. The new cutscenes featuring the drivers are a nice touch, and are implemented in a similar way to EAFC 24's career mode, in that they start when you're negotiating with your agent or another team. What has to be one of my favourite new features in F1 24's career mode is the addition of real-life radio messages being integrated into the racing experience, which play automatically when a race finishes or after a major incident. It adds a level of immersion that we haven't really seen in an F1 game before.
Great effort, guys. That was hard work, man.
Although I've only spent a short amount of time with F1 24, I've had an absolute blast. The considerable handling and physics changes are a real positive. And although I've sadly never driven a real life F1 car, the way the car feels and reacts in game certainly feels closer than ever to how we see them react on track. This isn't the final build of the game, of course, but F1 24 is shaping up to be another bold step in the right direction for Codemasters and EA Sports' F1 series. And that's it for my preview of F1 24. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are, and if you're looking forward to the game, we'd love to hear from you, so get commenting. Also, get subscribed for more of this type of content. We've got loads of stuff like this coming up that you're not going to want to miss. That's all from me. I'll see you on track.